Alright, so I just want to make a video real quick about my weight loss. Uh, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was really depressed. I had a good income, a decent job that a buddy of mine hooked me up with that I didn't appreciate. I just spent the money on junk food and beer and trying to forget reality and not really be part of it, and just shot myself in the foot with that. But the worst part is that drinking IPAs all the time, and you know, a 6-pack at a time, eating pizza for every meal for a while, junk food, ordering shit to be delivered at 2 a.m. Now, granted, I was still riding my bike a lot, but you do that, you know, you take in all that fat and grease and protein and carbs together, and you get fat as fuck fast. I was up to like 290 pounds when I went back to one of my friends' weddings. You know, I went to a tailor and got a suit made just because I couldn't find one that fit, and I didn't want to look like a slob. I was hoping the tailor could make me look thinner, and that I was already depressed, already having a bad time, and then that just was terrible. It made it worse. Now, I'd always been pretty bigger and heavier. I never really was trim and fit in my life that I can remember. Even as a kid, really, it wasn't. And I used to have a hard time. I'd get so winded running, and I used to ride my bike a lot as a kid, but I didn't go fast. I didn't go for very long miles. I was just always the slow kid that couldn't breathe very well, and never thought that I'd be on extended bike tours for months doing thousands of miles. Now, what happened is I finally got fed up and had enough of that shit, being fat and miserable, and lost my house, lost my job, lost all that shit, threw everything away, ended up with nothing, even got my nice bike stolen, and then went and got my hands on whatever bikes I could, and was riding and camping out wherever, and I had experimented with different diets and lifestyles when I had the house and I had jobs and whatever. And vegan and vegetarian stuff is something I've played around with since I was a kid. My mom had some friends who were diabetic and bought a lot of these veggie baddies and things like that. And so I tried some of those that were really good. And then my mom used to get them for me. And I would always eat just lots of vegetables and fruits. And then I got exposed to a bunch of vegans at the Rusty Spoke who were trim and always had energy and were doing all these cool things, these epic bike rides, and their schedule was just so packed, and they had so many things that they got done in a day, and they still had time to volunteer at the shop and to go and do and hang out with friends afterwards and after work and after school. They got PhDs, bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, and worked at bike shops and went on these tours and rode all over the country and got involved with anarchist info shops and taking pictures and making documentaries and being advocates for different causes and activists. They did all that stuff. And I saw that, and I saw that their diet and lifestyle really allowed that to happen. And so I wanted to go and try that myself. I tried it a couple times for short periods, but I didn't really commit to it 100%. I didn't really do it quite the right way, and I didn't stick with it. And what it came down to is that I was fasting too long, not eating enough calories, not eating the right composition of calories, not getting the results I wanted fast enough, so I resorted to other things. one of the main, well, a couple of the main influences I had. So Durian Ryder, a vegan cyclist from Australia, was one of the first. Him and Freely were probably the first high carb, low fat vegan stuff that I really watched and tried. Tried the Gatorade, eating the bananas. Then I saw the Raw Till 4. Tried that out, eating potatoes and rice after 4. Fruit in the morning, vegetables. That worked pretty good. It both worked. I mean, I loved it. I had a big Ninja blender. I'd get tons of bananas, throw them in there, throw some dates in there, coconut water or regular water, blend it up, keep it kind of thin, drink it down. Whole, big blender, probably 2 liters. Eating dates and bananas, and then I was buying 25-pound bags of jasmine rice at the Chinese Cultural Center, and I had a nice rice cooker, and I'd eat that. And then I got exposed to Derrick and Hannah back before they got married and both ended up in Arizona. Derrick's from Canada, and he started out a channel that was very much like Durian Rider, same kind of message. High carb, low fat vegan cyclist, and living frugally. And Hannah had high carb Hannah. I think she was from Minnesota. They got together, they got married, they moved to Arizona. They started building a tiny house, and they had this cool kind of homestead or ranch or compound built where they have people who come on tours, and they're very successful. Durian Rider is successful. They're successful with ebooks and other products, YouTube ad revenue. They make a huge impact. So I tried some of their stuff. I also got into Will from Potato Strong, and that's really what took me into the weight loss. Is just lots of potatoes, eat them as many as you want till you're full, with low salt, no fat, no protein sauces, and bake them in the oven. So I was mostly making thick fries. Just right on the oven rack, bake them till they're crispy. No oil. And it took some getting used to having the no oil, but once I got into it, it was like, dude, I could eat a huge mound of them, fill up a big bowl, eat till I was full, do that as many times as I wanted, and that worked really well. Got to a plateau though. And I was looking at some of the stuff Hannah and Derrick were doing. I tried some of their recipes. But I love to cook and I love to eat, and so following some of their stuff, I was just overdoing. I was cooking too much, eating too much, and then it came to a point where I didn't have the house and the kitchen and the resources, so I couldn't do that anymore. Then a friend of mine let me crash at their place for a while, and they were into dumpster diving, which I'm pretty into too, freaking stuff. Society wastes so much that we don't need. Oh, just got a cactus spine. Ow. Something sharp sat on it. Sorry about that. So society wastes so much that you don't need to go and spend a fortune on eating. And so I just tried that out. And so from like October of last year until now, I've spent almost no money on food. The light here is not so good. The sun's going down. Spent almost no money on food. And that's when the weight loss got really intense. So I only ate what I could find for free. And it just so happens I got lucky that one of the major places to find free food mostly threw out fruits and vegetables. So my diet quickly became potatoes, corn tortillas, mangoes, and bananas, and peppers and onions, things like that, with the occasional gallons of orange juice or other like Minute Maid drinks, stuff like that. And so it was easy. because that's all I had. High carb, low fat, and vegan. That's all I had. So I was making potato soup, boiled potatoes, onions, peppers, sometimes carrots. Just chop it all up, throw it in with this little rival hot pot. You just throw water in there and boil it. Not really meant for cooking in, just meant for heating up water. But there's just it worked. It was like a crock pot but smaller. And so you just throw it in there, cook it till it's done. Throw some seasoning in that you found, because there's always seasonings and stuff in the trash too. And like got this one that was like a pork chop seasoning that had caraway, garlic, salt, pepper, and a couple other things in it, and that was really good on it. And I would just make soup like that, and eat that, and make refried beans, sweet potato tacos, or just refried beans on tortillas. And then I'd find a lot of bananas. I'd find so many bananas, and I can eat tons of bananas in one sitting. Watermelons, found watermelons a lot, so I'd get a watermelon, cut it in half, eat the whole thing, and I could eat one of those whole for a meal. Breakfast. I like it for breakfast because you're super hydrated that way. Same with cucumbers. I really like to take the cucumbers, peel them, and run them through the juicer. But peeling them and eating them is fine too. But that's when it started taking off. And I really got into watching Durian Rider again. After his drama with Freely and them splitting, he got more intense, really intense, and he changed a little bit. He used to be just like showing, they would have these huge boxes of organic bananas and organic dates on the floor in the house, ripening and stuff. And he kind of got past that. He's eating a lot more rice and pastas and things like that, and drinking a lot of soda. And people give him shit for that, but it's like, dude, after eating bananas for a long time, it gets hard to always have the bananas rotating and to have enough of them. So you want easier calorie sources sometimes, and it's certainly easier to drink a bunch of Sprite and eat a cooked meal to get your calories in. And so he does raw till 4 still. So he eats fruit in the morning, water, gels on his ride, Sprite, and then cooked tons of cooked food at night, high carb. That's what works for me. I watch it. I got all hyped up, got into that message, loved the intensity, got behind it, did it for an extended period of time. It worked great. My arms used to be fat as fuck. You can see, still got some loose skin there. I'm down to about 170 pounds from 290. I feel great. I ride my bike every day. Tons of energy, stabilized moods for the most part. My life is so much better. And so that's how I got into the vegan thing. That's some of my major influences. And check them out. I'll put links to their stuff in the description there, to their channels and to their websites. And I hopefully this is kind of a roadmap or inspiration for you. I went from a miserable 290-pound burnout computer programmer to a fairly happy, in pretty good shape, long distance cycling touring person with their help. So check them out.